What does a woman look for? What does a man look for in a relationship? Can Google LM tell us anything that'll help us understand that? Here we go.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today's topic is juicy. We're digging into what women look for in a potential partner.
Always a fascinating topic.
It really is. And, it can get kind of complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not always straightforward, is it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Luckily, a listener sent in this really thought-provoking excerpt, and it's got us thinking about all the different factors at play. What do you say we jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this excerpt really zeroes in on a crucial point. It's not just about what a man finds attractive, but what a woman needs to thrive in a relationship long term. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's such a key point and often overlooked. We often talk about attraction from like a man's perspective, right? Like, what does he find appealing? But this flips the script and says, hold on, what about what she needs to build a life she loves? And honestly, that's huge.
Absolutely. And speaking of what she needs, this excerpt gets pretty specific. It talks about things like safety, a good provider, someone who will be there, a protector. I have to admit, those sound a little old-fashioned at first glance, don't they?
I can see why you'd say that, yeah. It does sound a bit like we're back in the Stone Age, right?
Right. Like, where's the mammoth hunt?
Exactly. But if you dig a little deeper, I think it reflects something really fundamental about human nature.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about it. Whether it's cavemen fending off saber-toothed tigers or us navigating the modern world, we all crave security. We want to feel safe and taken care of. So yeah, while the language might feel a bit outdated, those deep-seated desires for stability, they're still very much alive and well, even today.
Totally. We might not worry about saber-toothed tigers so much these days.
Well, maybe some days.
Haha, fair point. But we've got our own versions of those threats, right? Job insecurity, crazy traffic, you name it. We want someone who makes us feel like we can handle it all together.
Absolutely. It's that whole we're in this together feeling, right?
Exactly. Okay, so we've established that these needs, these desires, they're kind of timeless, yeah? But what I find super intriguing is how women figure this out. How do they gather the intel to make those big decisions? The excerpt breaks it down into three main ways: the past, the present, and what I like to call the dating app dilemma. So, how has this whole information gathering thing changed over time?
Okay, I love this. You're right. It's like a historical evolution of information. So let's start with the past, which I have to say is a pretty fascinating contrast to how we do things now.
Totally. No Tinder back then.
Exactly. Imagine a time when your world was your village. Everyone knew everyone else's business, their family history, their character, everything.
Oh my gosh, the gossip.
Right. And in that world, a man's reputation, it was everything. Families were super interconnected, and a bad reputation could seriously damage your prospects. So, choosing a mate, it wasn't just about love. It was about aligning yourself with the right family, the right values, ensuring the well-being of everyone involved. It was a huge decision with real consequences.
And now, our worlds are so much bigger, right? It's not just about your neighbor down the street anymore.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Even though our circles are wider, I still think we gather information in a similar way, just on a larger scale.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's less about the village elder vouching for someone and more about...
Exactly. It's about their social media presence, how they treat the barista at your local coffee shop, what their friends say about them when they think you're not listening. It's all data.
Oh, 100%. It's like, are they consistently kind? Are they respectful? Are they the kind of person you want in your corner, no matter what life throws at you? And that brings us to the excerpt's next big point. The slow burn. Tell me more about that.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting. So much of modern dating is about that initial spark, that instant connection.
Totally. Swipe right, swipe left. It's all so fast-paced.
Exactly. But the slow burn, that's about taking your time, seeing how someone behaves over time in different situations. It's about consistency. Because, let's be real, anyone can be charming on a first date. But how do they react when things get tough, when their team loses, when their car breaks down?
Ooh, good point. It's those unguarded moments that really reveal someone's true character.
Exactly. Do their actions align with their words? How do they treat others when they don't have to be on? Those are the things that matter in the long run.
It's like you can tell a lot about a person by how they handle a really, really bad day.
100%.
But, and maybe this is the millennial in me talking who has time for the slow burn anymore, our world is all about instant gratification. And that, my friend, brings us to the elephant in the room: dating apps. What are your thoughts on those?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you have this incredible technology that's opened up a whole new world of possibilities.
Right. I mean, can you imagine explaining Tinder to someone from the village elder era?
I know, right? It would blow their minds.
Seriously. So there's this thing called the internet.
Exactly. But on the other hand, like the excerpt points out, there's also a downside. You have this paradox of choice, which can be overwhelming, and the potential for misrepresentation is huge.
So true. I mean, how much can you really tell from a few carefully curated photos and a witty bio? It's like, is that really who they are?
It's a highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing the best version of themselves, and that's not always a bad thing. But it's important to remember that everyone has flaws, everyone has bad days, and those things don't always show up in a dating profile.
Exactly. So what's the takeaway for our listener? How do you reconcile this need for the slow burn, for gathering real information, with the reality of modern dating?
I think it's about balance. Dating apps can be fantastic tools for meeting new people, but they shouldn't replace real-life interaction. Whether you meet someone online or in person, stay open to that slow burn. Pay attention to how they make you feel. Observe how they treat others. Don't rush the process.
It's about connecting the dots, right? Like maybe their online presence gives you a glimpse into their interests, but a real conversation, seeing how they interact with the world, that tells you so much more.
Precisely. It's like anything else in life, choosing a job, buying a house, even picking a new restaurant. Gathering information from different sources leads to more informed decisions.
100%. So much wisdom in that. And that, my friends, brings us to a final thought for you to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive. We've spent all this time talking about what women look for, how they navigate this crazy dating landscape, but what about the other side of the coin?
Ooh, good one.
What are the key things men need to know about a potential mate? And how might their information gathering process look different? Something to think about. Until next time, everyone, happy dating, and as always, happy deep diving.